Welcome to Then and Now, where typically we look at the first and latest of a long-running franchise and see how things have changed. But this time we are looking at the specific time frame, the beginning and end of Core Design's time with Tomb Raider. We have well explored the then, but before we excavate the now, it's time to look at the in-between. As I mentioned previously, Tomb Raider was an immense success in both critical and public receptions. From the success, the franchise in its current form was set on a path that would lead to its inevitable end. Yearly installments. For 5 years straight, there was Tomb Raider, all developed by Core Design, none to ever hit the critical high of the original, none to match nor succeed the sales of the original. With the coming of a new generation, Tomb Raider was destined to make that run and jump. With the longest gap between mainline games since the series' inception, of a whole 3 years, would the foray to generations new be a clean landing, in need of a ledge grab, or plummet to the ground? Well, let's see, because it's time for the now. Developed by Core Design, obviously, published by Eidos Interactive, as you expect, and released in June of 2003. Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness is an action-adventure game with platforming tendencies. It was not well received at all, with the PlayStation 2 Metacritic average sinking to an all-time low for the mainline franchise. It sold decently, and in spite of everything, would still go on to reach platinum status. As you may expect, the development process wasn't the smoothest. I won't get into it here, there are many more smart, knowledgeable, eloquent, and concise people out there that could. In short, it was rough. For this, we shall be playing the PlayStation 2 version. Originally, I was going to play the PC version, but after reading that there were some effects both of the sound and visual variety missing, along with the other PC-only wrinkles, I decided to deal with the immense drop in resolution instead. Now, I have played some Angel of Darkness before. How much, I'm not certain. My childhood memory is of Paris streets, talking to an NPC, euros, and thinking that this isn't very good. I am both curious and honestly quite excited to get started, so let us get on with it. It's not mandatory, it's just continuity. We begin in a crime scene with narration detailing the serial killer known as the Monstrum. Of the 17 reported victims, one Werner von Croy is the latest. Okay, hold up, context, it's important. Werner von Croy is a name we should know. He was introduced in the last Revelation, as a mentor of sorts for Lara, and without getting into spoilers, let us just say that they didn't part ways under the best of terms. Got that? Onwards. An individual not unlike our protagonist was spotted leaving the crime scene, so that's a bit dodgy. And that's the intro. I don't really know why this was here. It doesn't really add much, and we're not going to get after a couple of button presses. But, whatever. We begin proper with a denim-clad Lara talking to a yet-living Von Croy. He pleads for Lara's help as he believes that his life is in danger from searching for 5 obscure paintings. Unrelated. Lara is angered by the gall, the feckin' nerve of Von Croy to be asking for her help after the events of 2 games prior. He forcibly hands Lara the address for a woman named Cavier and tells Lara to go to her. But then... Get out! Some poor cinematography takes place and Werner von Croy is Werner von Croaked. At whose hands? Lara's? No, of course not. You don't have a scene this awkwardly shot for those purposes. And also, I don't know if you caught it, but I definitely did. They feckin' show someone wearing a brown jacket and possibly greyish-brown trousers standing over him. Unless Lara has a special murder outfit under that denim ensemble that she's feckin' speed changes into, I highly doubt that it's her. We white flash transition into implied implications, and Lara stares at her blood-covered sausages in disbelief. Cut to police of human and dog varieties. A now glassesless Lara liking it, and the po-po pooches are unleashed. Lara pegs it down a hall and is somehow keeping pace with the Rottweilers. But it's irrelevant, for it's a dead end. Lara turns as on the receiving end of the presumed sick drop kick out of the window, because otherwise the dog surely would have come along for the ride. Lara is metaphorically flipped off by the dog waving her backpack. No, what? She was facing down the hall, was knocked out the window backwards. How the hell did the dog get her backpack? Lara carries on and hops over a rail that will cease to exist once we get out of this cutscene.
This looks like a safe area. But I need to find a way out.
Ugh.
To move around.
Can you get back up? Lara, grab the ledge. Lara, it's right there. Where's the railing?
That
Yes,
bin
I
looks
get it.
climbable. To
I
grab
get it!
gravity. This
Shut up
gap
and let me
looks
play the
easy.
game!
To jump it, walk to... Now
Oh
press
my
the jump
God.
button.
Shiny! Can I? Well, not like that, I won't. We carry on, do some riddance of modern tombs, but not all of
It
it.
looks like-
And
The jump to that canopy looks challenging, but I think I can make it.
and we
Now push forward and jump to get...
and we fall off the ledge from impatience. Very long legs. We finally do the Tomb Raider, and I up past Shinies. We might be fine. Whoa! 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 What the hell is happening here? What the hell's going on? Balls, I didn't save the game. They make a hell of a first impression. So, first up, let's talk controls. You probably have a good idea where we're going to end up in this segment, but let's cross that bridge once we've assembled it. Let's start with an overview of your capabilities. Angel of Darkness features a blend of action, platforming, and everyone's favourite shoehorn gameplay style, stealth. It was the early 2000s. You move via the now standard, and more often than not, look via the now standard. You have a walk button with optional toggle, jump button, a 180-degree roll, crouch into coloscopy, ready weapon button, free look, interact ledge grab button, and a stealth button. What remains is a pause menu with nothing on it, and another menu with too much on it, mapped to start and select respectively or your equivalent. God, where to start? Nothing in this game feels good at all. Let's start with what you're doing mostly. Moving. It's unresponsive, slow, inconsistent, sludge-like. You push in a direction and must wait for Lara to respond to your request. Wait for her to build up to a walk, and then to a run. If she feels like running, most of the time she runs after walking for a little bit, sometimes after a shorter walk, and sometimes it's an immediate sprint. Why? Couldn't tell you. I thought I figured it out once. I thought that the immediate run was if I did a quick movement in the opposite direction. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. Consistency. Not this game's strong suit. The walk comes in two forms as mentioned, toggle and hold varieties. The difference? The toggle is purely to maintain a walk. This was my personal favourite means of movement because it was consistent. I could explore and any turns that I had to take could be made with gradual movements of the stick, meaning that I avoided the sudden stops because the stick went slightly too many degrees too fast. When holding walk, you have access to more what could be considered fine movement. Forward is still forward, but now back is back step, and left and right drift in those directions. It's like tank controls, but not, because it's missing one pivotal aspect of tank controls: rotation. This means that any fine tuning must be done after you have the desired facing direction. If not, you have two options. Quickly tap the stick in the direction that you want Lara to face until she eventually does, being careful not to do it too hard, or else she'll run off the ledge and you'll be starting from the completely opposite direction. Alternatively, toggle the walk and finagle your way there eventually. Also, I should say, sometimes, you know the way the hold button, strafe, back up, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes, you just have the toggle movement even though you're holding down the button. It's consistency. Tomb Raider, the Angel of Darkness, rarely shall they meet. Don't know why I went singing that one, but sure. Maybe, just maybe, they should put tank controls in here. All I'm saying is, there's a D-pad going completely unused. So, PC version, it has tank controls. As I was looking at the manual, I saw something that seemed a bit, wait, what? Give 'em a look, and when you look at this, oh, it still feels awful. Because at the end of the day, it's still based on Angel of Darkness movement, so you have this weird stop, and then you have to stop. Here we go. Also, inconsistent run. Sometimes she runs immediately. Sometimes she just walks. But we have rotation, and you know, that helps. For some instances, not right now, but it helps for, you know, Can I climb this though? No. Wait. The real one! Fuck's sake, the PC version has the real one! Well, would you look at that? Doggy, can you believe it? Mad, isn't it? Wait. Does the thing still break? Alright. Yo! I can't walk forward. I can't walk forward. The real one exists and I can't walk forward. Oh, what? There we go. No. Oh. Can I? Can I break it? Can I break it? No! God damn, it's magic. I just need to get back out. Oh wait, no, can we do the jump in here and die? Yeah. It's oh my god, it's functional. It's functional. Oh, wow. What a magical experience this has become. I can run against a rail, jump against the wall, and I don't immediately die. Wow. Dougie! Dougie, can you believe it? It just work. I don't mean to die. Oh, but I die to you though. Even the game over screen is better. Jumping! It also doesn't feel great. It has just enough delay to be unpleasant. It comes in 3 forms, I think. Maybe 4, probably 3. Vagueness is the theme of jumping in Angel of Darkness. You certainly jump in neutral, short and long fashions, and then certainly have a run and jump. It's entirely likely that the long jump and the mythical run and jump are one of the same. There is never any mention of a run and jump. When tutorialized, you're told to cross a gap by tapping the stick forward and pressing jump. So why the self-inflicted confusion? Doubt. Aha! Editor Arebuckle here, to tell you that in spite of the fact that the game never makes mention of it, there is indeed a run and jump on top of the tap the stick forward and jump. So some jumps absolutely required a run and jump, and I erroneously leaped full of heart, but not of leg. That's not to completely absolve the Angel of Darkness of all platforming confusion, however. The game's got problems. The simple act of any kind of climbing that doesn't involve a jump is also a sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't mechanic. Whilst you have an interact button that functions as a grab button for jump required ledges and movables, you don't use that here. Instead, you must release the left stick to a neutral position and then push towards the object you wish to get your leg over. It's clumsy, inconsistent, and irritating to no end. At one point, I ended up getting stuck in a crawl space for so damn long. I was using the grab button to grab the ledge in a futile bout of feckin' common sense. I then recalled the delightfully stupid way the system works and proceeded to rub my face against a ghostly middle finger, as no matter what, Lara wouldn't climb down. On a more positive leaping note, the short jump, or hop is more accurate, I really like it. It's activated by holding the walk button and jumping. I don't know, I just like having this option of this little hop. On a more neutral note, this is a 3D game of swimming. It's fine. Rotate and pivot with the left analog stick and move forward with the jump button, all done at a pleasantly brisk pace in suitable camera-friendly, clear and readable areas. On a more irritating note, there is zero momentum transferred into swimming. No matter the height, angle nor speed, once Lara meets the wet defiler, she will always be a couple of inches below, facing straight up. Given the fact that this isn't traditionally the case, I think it's fair to say that this may be a casualty of the rushed development process. As for what happens when guns are drawn, we'll get to that in due time. I just wanted to give an overview and discuss navigation, and with this summation I come to the unforeseen realization that the most uneventful, pleasant navigational technique is swimming. Congratulations, Angel of Darkness. I didn't think that would be something that I could genuinely say. With the kick in the arse to the main menu, the realization that this game actually supports 16:9, and so after changing the aspect ratio on the PlayStation 2, we now get to puzzle over this bloody ledge some more, but in beautiful widescreen. And it's fine this time. No. Lara? Lara, climb. Okay, well jump. Jump over. Lara? You know, I really should learn to save it before doing any kind of bug testing. After further experimentation, it turns out that the initial problem is due to walking on the ledge, since the walk is supposed to prevent you from walking off ledges. But as it is plain to see, the game is rather confused by this particular ledge. As for why rubbing up against it results in death, that's a mystery that shall remain. We finally carry on.
Walk up to the railings. Stop.
Grab rooftop chocolate, and
I can hop to the other side. Hold down walk and press jump. To climb the drain pipe, walk up to it.
And descend.
Remember that by holding the walk button
And descend.
to climb off
And
the
descend to
drain
the
pipe,
rooftop.
push-
We clunkily move a barrel, grab a crowbar, and prise the door open.
I feel stronger now.
Good for you. Get a piece, return to the scene of the crime to finish the job. Eventually. Return to the crowbar's nesting, and just about make it across. Initiate clunky stealth. Was that jiggle really necessary? Grab a key and descend. But the police are still, or just resumed, giving chase. Lara enters and barricades. Conveniently for her, Parisian security measures haven't seemed to have progressed in well over 2 centuries. We further barricade and be on our way. Why did I even bother? The cops are gassing the place out and the building is falling apart. Back if I know. We jump a gap, don't make it for some reason, do it again, but make it this time. Encounter an easily bypassable roadblock if she would just try, and fail to move a box because
I'm not strong enough.
so we seek out the remedy to the arbitrary.
I feel stronger.
There we go. Pull the box, push the box, make a dumb jump. On the rooftops, we perform an amazing physical feat. Explore abandoned wrecks of buildings. Progress?
My legs feel
Good
stronger.
for them. Oh, we're just back here.
I reckon I'll make it across.
What? How? The distance and the ledge is the same height. How the fuck can you make that? We carry on with the shackles of gravity given more slack, and then just waft around rooftop until stumbling into the activation point. This will not be the last time that something like this happens. With nowhere to go, Lara eyes a dodgy jump, goes for it, and makes it. But Lara climbs out of the symbolic dumpster, and the police are just gone. At Cavier's home, we're treated to one of the most awkward introductions I've experienced in recent memory.
Who is it?
Mademoiselle Cavier, it's Lara Croft. I need your help.
Miss Croft. I recognize you from photos and Bernard's description. Come in.
Thank you.
Really, this conversation as a whole is a mess. Lara details the details, and Cavier mentions a notebook left to her by Von Croy, which he wanted to be given to Lara if the worst came to be. Also, plot. Von Croy was hired by one known as Eckhart. He asked Cavier, who works at the Louvre, to research the obscure paintings. From her research, she discovered that there are 5. They were created in the 15th century, and that they are tied to behaviour most naughty. Conversation turns back to the whole Von Croy being dead thing, where maybe Lara did do a murder is reaffirmed to be a source of intrigue. Then maybe I shouldn't have given it away immediately, I'm just saying. With 2 choices that pretty much say the same thing, we go aggressive because I don't know if it actually matters. Conversation goes sour, even though it really shouldn't, and Cavier feels that the police are right to suspect Lara, even though at no point the police were brought up. And she wants us to promptly bugger off. Then conversation resets to a calm and neutral one, and Cavier hands over the notebook. Lara is needlessly threatening. We raid her cupboards and leave. Daybreak, and we rejoin the fact that you're doing face down on the floor. Why aren't you on the seats? And if you have to be on the floor, why your face? What's fucking wrong with you? We talk to the nearby homeless. Lara asks about Louis Bichard for some reason. That name never came up. Lara is given direction to Cafe Metro to talk to the owner. Also, she's a dick.
What about the spare change, mademoiselle?
I didn't say I had any.
We do as the local homeless assume they do, and ascend. This is literally the only way out. We talk to some tit who is most definitely French.
Oh, we got all kinds of rough stuff here in Paris. Oh, we got all kinds of rough. Oh, we got all kinds. Oh, we got all kinds. Oh, we got all kinds. All kinds. All kinds. Oh, we got all kinds. Oh, we got all kinds. Oh, we got all kinds. All kinds. All kinds.
Sorry, got distracted. To surmise, where's Bouchard? I'm not sure about this. Also, Monstrum. Bouchard though, he owns a club. Club? Not going well. Club? Monstrum. We look into the notebook and Bouchard. We exit to the streets and immediately converse some more. Bouchard? Club? Bouchard? Talk to Pierre or Bernard? Bernard? That's that fecker I remember. So we walk the streets, go to a pawn shop, talk shop, and pawn. More wanderings bring more load screens, which bring lowered patience. So we head to the nearest of the two potential leads. We talk to Pierre, who has his phone glued to his hand, presumably because we talked to him whilst he was using the phone, and the game doesn't know how to remove the phone model from his hand. But let's be honest, this is the least of the game's problems. Bouchard? Want someone dead? Grab a thing from the club. Sure, and threats.
Okay, and if this doesn't work out, I know where to find you. Don't I, Pierre?
In the club, Black and Bob, and also an exit. I actually came in here by accident, and you just get stuck. It's great. We attempt stealth, but immediately fail. Because why would you open the windowless door? Who knows what could possibly be on the other side, you fool? Why didn't you go the other way that doesn't exist? With this, we explore the club with what Lara is known best for. Mass murder. During our explorations, we jump on light rigs. Feel a slight jump. Lara spontaneously decides to let go of the light rig. Lara doesn't feel like jumping. But eventually, we arrive at the control station.
I'm not strong enough.
Well, now what? What's the point of that? We're getting into the thick of it good and early. Let us talk about the moment to moment. From this apparent playground we're running around, spelunking its numerous dilapidations, and foisting our ill-gotten gains on a questionable pawn shop, you may be formulating an idea as to what the moment to moment of the Angel of Darkness is. You're wrong. From playing the first few hours, you may understandably have this impression of a game of hubs, perhaps each with an open area populated by NPCs with locations in the hubs acting as levels. Perhaps exploring this open area would result in items or perhaps side quests, and any gains made would be turned into a vendor so that you may stock up or perhaps acquire new weaponry and or gear. Hell, you may even be considerably more conservative with your expectations by perhaps expecting these streets to be the sole hub and it acting as a form of home base where you'll get to know its residents over time. But no, not at all. To either. Perhaps it did in the minds of Core, but as I said, this game had significant development problems. It's a game that was chopped and shunted together to make a moronic deadline in the form of a film tie-in. Good job, Eidos. Later in the game, we make our way to Prague, and for a fleeting moment, you may believe it to be a second hub. It's not. Maybe it would have been, but it ain't. This is also where I tell you that we will never see another hub, we will never have multiple NPCs to talk to, we will never have another choice of job, we will never have another merchant to sell our wares, we will never have a shop to spend our gains. The Paris Ghetto is an underdeveloped snapshot of what Core wanted the Angel of Darkness to be, and our inventory will be an ever-present reminder. So what of the game that we have? It's a very standard linear third-person action adventure with occasional moments of involved exploration and platforming. For those more standard times, there is still some platforming and climbing, but it's used as a thing to do. Something that's not walking in a straight line. The exploration aspects are very limited and inconsistent, with ledges that are certainly within your grasp, somehow eluding it. A box that can be pulled, but only from one side. A metal container on a reel, in need of shifting, buttons on each end, which makes it move to the other side. Neither is an illogical choice, really. It turns out the side with the box moves it to the other side. Okay, here's a movable platform, again, 2 buttons. The side without the platform is the correct button. Not only is the logic not consistent, this is in the same pissing room. Attempts to make climbing natural by making an uneven hole-filled wall is great on paper. But for it to work, you have to train the player to recognize it when it appears. That means actually using it consistently and not just randomly throwing one in amongst a room of unclimbable hole-filled walls after spending about 4 fucking hours with only one poorly framed telegraphed implementation. Not true. Back when Lara wakes up face down on the likely urine and fecal crusted train floor, you must climb a repurposed chain link fence. Whilst there is a dramatic gap in intuitive readability between this and a decrepit wall, to say that there was only one poorly framed natural wall before the dig site is simply not true. Back to it. Also, don't follow up your feckin' rare indent a climbable wall with a perfectly smooth surface that I'm somehow supposed to intuit is for monkey barring across. Yes, I was stuck here for a while. During your time you will of course be doing some jumping and clambering, some being a pretty accurate quantifier, and for the most part what is there is pretty bland and boring. Speaking of bland and boring, the combat. That remark alone will tell you all you need to know, but one big positive about the combat is that it is barely there. Combat encounters are quite infrequent, near non-existent early on. I actually really like this. For the most part, it's my ideal combat exploration ratio. It's just unfortunate that the exploration aspect is also near non-existent, and when it does, it's mostly a big nothing. But momentarily back to the platforming. If we want to talk platforming, there's a sort of level that's like a bunch stuck together, but in concept it is one, but regardless it's one that must be talked about. I don't want to talk about it. I fucking despise it. It made me want to give up. I was deep into writing and recording process of Tomb Raider 1 and had just begun some light editing, and part of me wanted just to throw the whole thing away. I'm talking about the Hall of Seasons, which in actuality is like the Hall of Elements, not seasons, like fire, air, wind and earth. Those aren't seasons. The Hall of Seasons, which follows the aforementioned wall scurrying and the beautiful bridge platforming that you saw near the beginning. The game just starts falling apart at the seams from that wall. We'll talk about the Hall of Seasons when absolutely necessary. There are also puzzles, though I can only remember 2, or I guess 3, but that third one is... you'll see. And to be honest, only one is really a puzzle. Everything else is like a momentary distraction. It's one of those puzzles with levers and spinning dials. You know the kind. I'm not poo-pooing it, by the way. I wish there was actually more things like this in the game. Things that make you stop and think a little. Something that actually clings to your memory for a little while. Because here's the big problem of the moment-to-moment of the Angel of Darkness. I only really realised it in the process of doing this. Angel of Darkness is bereft of intrigue. The moment-to-moment is filled to the brim with nothing. It's one unremarkable task after another, punctuated by some part of the game breaking. Puzzle! Literally just remember the puzzle. It's everyone's favourite early 3D puzzle. Moving boxes. Sexy! Basically, you have to awkwardly and clumsily push and pull boxes in order to get one below a pipe. Except you can't climb the pipe yet because you need to turn off the steam. The valve is practically on top of you. It's really an uninteresting task. It's just some busy work. But you couldn't do the busy work first because you're not strong enough, and you get strong enough by completing the box puzzle. That's a conversation for the level design. As for the levels as a whole, their design, their progression, well, there's a whole lot to say about nothing. So we will leave that till later. We move some lights, grab our goal, and make our exit. On our descent, we get a look at the inner workings of Lara's mind. Get befuddled by Parisian architecture. Why is there a staircase to a 20-foot drop? Oi! You!
Leave me alone, I'm busy.
Oh. I guess I should have came here earlier. We inadvertently return to Pierre, with the phone glued to his hand once more. Lara gives Pierre a rundown of prior events, hands the desired object over suddenly off screen. Lara acts threatening for reasons.
You don't want to see my dangerous side?
Pierre says someone may have overheard previous conversations and asked about Bouchard. And Lara is threatening some more. We must now meet up with one Francine, who will aid us in our hunt for Bouchard. And Lara threatens to murder Pierre.
I'd hate for you to become a personal problem that I have to come back and tidy up.
I don't know what's fucking going on with her. At Francine's. Seriously, nothing is happening in between. We just head in and she stands stiffly as we peruse her home. No introductions, no hey, how's yourself? Just walk in with her standing at the complete opposite side of the room. Natural. With no names asked, Francine just blurts out Bouchard's location. The easiest way being through a graveyard, which is conveniently just on the other side of this door. We platform through the dilapidated dumpster that is Paris, and Lara just decides she doesn't want to climb rails anymore. Oh. Also, yes, over this rail is indeed the way. This mechanic is just fucking broken here. With leaps and swings, or what do you call this? Like verbally, I mean, like I know it's like I know monkey bars is the whatever. We do what it is and drop it into the graveyard, where we must jump from crypt to crypt and avoid ground gallivanting, for the floor is doggies. Coincidentally, the same breed we have seen for the whole game so far. In the enclosed area of the graveyard that the crypts conveniently lead to, there's a blatant statue in need of a pushing.
I'm not strong enough. I feel stronger now.
Great system. Great. Push comes to smash, and we enter. Up yours too, dickhead. We make our way through the dilapidated, bottomless pit-laden sewer. I tell you, this game does not paint a pretty picture of Paris' infrastructure.
I can climb this.
You can climb what? Oh, it's nice and clear. Oh no! See, this is why you cut your chain link fence. Go free! You wee bastard! This camera was given one job, and it wasn't navigational. We proceed through the ho-hum, and the what the fuck is that? A little ways forward, we finally meet Bouchard.
What happened to your man in the room out there, Bouchard?
To Arno? You've got something to say about that?
Bouchard wants none of this and orders his non-existent men to get Lara out. Lara continues on and asks about Eckhart, Von Croy's employer. Bouchard claims to not know him. Questions in turn to why Von Croy wanted to know the Louvre's measurements, which I guess this is information we already know. It was probably in the journal. No, I didn't read it. Monstrum! 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 There's an archaeological dig site under the Louvre. We get offered that contact, but Lara doesn't follow up on it, and instead ask about getting further armed. In exchange for access to the armory, we must deliver the pawnbroker some papers. Bouchard does not say please. Monstrum? Monstrum! Monstrum! I guess we're going to get the contact after this, so it's time to head back to the pawn shop. We push a box, climb, and pull a lever, which opens the door to Bouchard's hideout. What? We ascend to a boxing ring?
Nice
There's a dick.
What?
Am I talking too fast for you?
And we place a bet.
My money's on Carl.
We ascend to a boxing ring?
Nice
There's a dick.
watch.
What?
Am I talking too fast for you?
And we place a bet.
My money's on Carl.
We ascend to a boxing ring?
Nice
There's a dick.
watch.
What?
Am I talking too fast for you?
And we place a bet.
Zach looks like a good mover.
And won.
Here, take it.
You suck shit, Carl. Back on the streets, we stumble into a herbalist, and Lara asks where
I'm
Bouchard
looking
is.
for someone.
Alright?
Name-
On the way back to the pawn shop, we stop by Francine's for the hell of it. Put in the door code, and nothing happens. The interact icon is still there, but we just can't do anything anymore. So, pawn shop. We arrive at the pawn shop, and we are immediately shoulder checked by some top knot tool. Further inside, things look normal. Is something supposed to be wrong? Oh, that's different. Regardless of random renovations, Lara fulfills her end of the deal, and we enter the world behind the counter. Oh no! The Mon had strummed! I'll have that.
Looks like a way out.
How would she know that? Ah, of course. I forgot about Lara's architectural psychometry. Oh, that's bad. Wait, did your man do it, or was this the pawnbroker? Oh, wallet! Wait, what? Inside the wallet is a code to open the nearby door. We read the cupboards and skip over the dialogue because the interact button also skips the dialogue. Smart.
Damn it.
Uh-oh. You know what, before we go, I want to see if the passports are there. Strong building.
Werner obviously never had chance to collect it.
Back what up? Guns? We head for the perceived exit, and I am going to pause for a second. Okay, what you're about to see is... I'm just going to show the immediate events and cutscene out in full. No editing of any kind, and if you can believe it, I'm even going to shut up. Following Lara slowly escaping from the spontaneous fires and slowest explosion known to humanity, we cut to a big room with big people doing big things. Eckhart regales the assembled. Niles, Mac, and Irina Spalko of the ongoings. They are currently in possession of 3 obscure patents and know of a 4th in the Louvre due to Von Croy. Once acquired, they plan to meet in Prague to find the 5th and final painting, and this is all so they might awaken the lazy bastard. Eckhart then sends Triple H and the remaining NXT roster after the Louvre painting. I promise I'll use the appropriate names for when they're acquired. For the people at the table anyway. For reasons I don't understand, we're in the Louvre storm drains now. Why are we here? Did Lara meet up with Bouchard's contact? When did she change her clothes? It turns out that in the pawn shop we picked up information pertaining to the Louvre and its drains, even though it wasn't all established that the pawnbroker was the contact, and that was what we picked up behind the locked door. The pawnbroker was only mentioned in relation to being an arms dealer, not floor plan dealer. This could very well have been the result of some shunting together of the game. Yes, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It also, maybe, would have been nice to have a scene with Lara, you know, doing anything with this information so they might have context for what's happening. We have some mild exploration and Valve turning to do, so whilst we're doing that, let's talk level design. The Angel of Darkness is a very straightforward game with very few exceptions. Yes, you may eventually stumble into a wider than usual room, but chances are high that it's going to be a very plain one, with any verticality likely in the form of a staircase or 2, and if you're a lucky child, perhaps you'll get to do a jump. But don't let this newfound head, arm and leg space fill your head with any ideas, because it's back to the straight line once you're done. Levels feel very flat and linear, even the more explorative ones, due to multiple paths often leading you to practically walking in a straight line, be the path purely horizontal or incorporating vertical elements. The closest the game gets to an open level is the storm drains, but again it's in a thematically appropriate, dreary to experience bundle of straight lines. It's a level that you must hunt for valves, feature shortcuts that never hit that ooh feeling, has 2 open areas of note, but there's no clutter nor false paths to give you pause in your forward journey. Oh, and those valves? You can't turn them yet.
It won't turn. My arms aren't strong enough.
So you must explore the levels, ignore your goal, and instead hunt for the arbitrary blocker. Let's talk.
I'm not strong enough.
I'm trying to think of the best way to frame and talk about
I'm not strong enough.
exasperating. Yeah, that'll work. So many times during the game you reach some random point and Lara states,
I'm not strong enough.
and so you must find the gains giver. Sometimes the answer is a puzzle. Sometimes it's knocking over a ramp that's just beside the goddamn door that you can't open. Sometimes it's just a jump. It's asinine bollocks. You may say, well, you know, it functions like a locked door needing a key. If that was the goal, then they fucking failed, and again, based on how random and uninspired the locations for both are, I'm going to say that it isn't the case for most of them. With a locked door in need of a key, you expect a journey, exploration, something that carries the minimal amount of intrigue to be worthwhile, not something that's just over there. The game's grip system is an extension of this concept. At times they make ledges just long enough for an upgraded grip meter, which again is tied to some random task. Unlike the other 4 keys, the grip meter has an actual impact on the rest of the game. In short, it's miserable. Climbing is slow, distances are long, and the transition from one grab surface to another can be dodgy. In one instance, they made use of this for a timed hanging set piece. It's not strictly platforming, whatever. There's a natural climb wall in the goddamn Hall of Seasons, where you transition to a hang. From here, you're supposed to find your way to safety/progress. 3 problems. They don't communicate the need for a grip upgrade. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. This was one of the latter. You can't see shit, the camera is awful, the path isn't clear, and since you're working with a timer, you can't properly assess the area. So you'll inevitably break your legs a couple of times before you figure it out. The safety ledge is placed in such a manner that it takes the full grip meter to reach, which means you need to hope that at no point during this tedious ascent that the game screws you over with the camera and ledge transitions. And sometimes that's a big feckin' ask. If all of this, the strength checks, the grip meter and so on were removed, would you be losing anything of value? No. It accomplishes nothing but wasting time. It is some of the hollowest task given I've experienced. From a presentation standpoint, it's more annoying than any locked door. A locked door has consistency. A locked door is a locked door. No matter what, a locked door will need a key. Here, it's just a thing that can happen. I didn't know where to put this in here with level design or moment to moment. It's kind of a blend of both. As for platforming outside of those bastard halls, it's very uninteresting. It's very much a case of walking down a straight path, here's a jump, do it. There's rarely any kind of stakes associated with it, outside of some health loss, and outside of a handful of businesses won't venture past the most basic of setups. In Club Rouge, you see something different. At the greatest heights, you're forced into reactionary platforming. Jump or walk onto a slope surface, forced into a slide, and must time your escape. No, this isn't new ground, nor is it the most grand sequence, but it's a base. It's something you'd expect to be built upon, tweaked, and so on. But it just disappears. It probably occurred more. It did, but any memory of it is gone. All I remember is the sequence in Club Rouge and approaching the end of the game, remarking how boring the platforming was and how there wasn't any use of ramps, only for the thought to be immediately met with a slightly platforming section. It was awful and unclear. I just botched my way through it, as with a lot of things in Angel Darkness. You'll see. I genuinely don't think that there's much more to say. I'm thinking of what I've said so far and I can't find anything more. It's very plain, dull, and for the most part, puts you in an autopilot state. I guess sometimes things are just that shallow. With all the valves turned, the storm has drained. We drown in the air. Corrupt reality.
I can smell oil. I'd better be careful.
Flurry of emotions. Oh god, she's on to me.
I think this is the place. Better check the map.
Map? What thing a map?
Dive, girl.
What?
Dive.
I can't help but feel that something was cut from the sequence, like, say, a need for a map. We make it through the very specifically placed flames and sneakily make our way into the Louvre. Yes, in spite of us literally blowing a hole into the side of the lovely Louvre, which on top of the sound undoubtedly would have caused a mini earthquake of shaking, everything is calm and orderly. Alright, camera. What was I supposed to do? Sleep, little French fry, now don't you cry. Mama's gonna purloin, no, don't ask why.
I'm not strong enough.
Come on! Oh, feck this, I'm leaving. Is he still there? Wow. We proceed to clamber all over the displays. Trip a lizard that locks down the door and teleports some harsher security into the room. Harsher does not necessarily mean intelligent. You know what, we're just going to try this again. The fuck are you doing here? And how are you not setting off the lasers? But then again, there's another conflict between my desire for consistency and just wanting to be done with this. We carry on and ignore the enthusiastically crap security. We get an overview of imminent challenges. Why is he standing there? We do the sneaky sneak and so stealth. A quick talk on the stealth. It's shit. No longer talk. With a tap of the dedicated stealth button, Lara loses all enthusiasm for life, and supposedly makes it much harder for her to be seen. Also in this stance, movement is identical to the toggled walk. Okay, as you'd expect, the problems lay with everything other than Lara. Two things. One, there was zero thought, effort, skill, time, whichever and however many apply, to the melding of the system and the level design. The first full stealth sequence, or at least a heavily implied one at Club Rouge, implied through the camera work, a distraction mechanic, and a moronic walk loop for the nearby enemy. You can take out this guard with stealth, and then make your way upstairs. You're greeted with a full-bodied people's door. Open it up. Oh, stealth over, I guess. This is the only path forward, and there are no means to see nor interpret the ongoings on the other side of the door. The AI is too thick for any kind of stealth, dynamic or otherwise. Once caught, that's that. If they have a gun, they fire them, give chase if given reason. No gun, they immediately run at you and can get stuck in the environment. The AI never resets either. No matter the distance nor time spent, the AI will never cease the pursuit, either from short-term memory loss or returning to their post with a newfound alertness. You may say, but Arebuckle, it's more realistic this way. Yeah, well, realism sucks, especially poorly implemented realism. When realism can lead to a progression blocker and potential need to restart the game from the beginning, yet gone and cocked it up. This is where those points come together and bring ruin in their wake. We're deep in the events of the Louvre, and the sin to make our exit. The event's needlessly gigantic cover is pushed aside and, oh no, it's the fuzz and employ. Leg it. This isn't a situation that should exist. This is impossible. There is no opportunity for you to do anything. You can't get to finish the ladder animation and perform an action before being struck and returned to whence you came. This situation is a potential playthrough killer because no matter how minute the odds are, it is theoretically possible for you to overwrite your save with these circumstances in effect. There is no kind of autosave, B checkpoint, or simply a return to the beginning of the level. If you somehow find yourself in those tiniest of odds, that's a game restart in your future. Now you might say, well, Arebuckle, instead of this pansy passively sneaky, why not just gun them down? Again, it wouldn't be wrong, but I don't know. I wanted to roleplay Lara as someone who doesn't just gun down people, especially ones who are just trying to stop people from breaking into an art gallery. You know, when it comes down to it, all the stealth amounts to is a wall lean, store back, and a choke against AI that is barely cognizant of the fact that it's active.
It won't open.
Lara, just break the glass. Just break it. We peer into Javier's office, spy a conveniently placed, massively written code, and enter. Wherein we're treated to lore. I'll surmise. Engravings reveal the location of the pins. There's a Pieter van Eckhart of the 13 or 1400s. The pins hide the Sanglyph, aka blood sign. The Lux Veritatis took the pins and doodled over them. The doodling was done by Brawler Obscura. A little on the nose. The pins were hidden, but for plot convenience, he made copies with the aforementioned engravings. Those two were hidden. With that done, we grab a keycard and be on our way. Ignore stealth with the knowledge that the AI is the drizzling shits and eventually arrive at the entrance of the dig site. In the dig site, the AI continues to demonstrate its struggles with life, and we find more lore. It's about the Nephilim. Angels and humans did the dirty. Boom, Nephilim. They can shapeshift. Moving on. We get a piece of paper, go into a big room with a big machine, scan a big surface with the big machine in the big room, and uncover a small symbol on the big surface with the big machine in the big room. Hard copy. Press the wrong button. We return to the bottom of the dig site in a manner that encourages continued exploration. For the most part. After an irritatingly long time, a climbable wall is noticed. In hindsight, the brick should have been a tip-off, but in the moment it was just another rough, grey, blurry surface. And again, this was only the second time the game used natural scalables. I'm willing to take some blame, but I'm also going to drag this fecker with me. Adopt the natural scalable. There's nothing here. With clear direction lacking, desperation takes hold. And we retread old ground. And then get desperate again. That's it. What are you talking about? This. What the hell, game? Wait, how did it... This fucking game. So we finally make progress with another Why didn't you jump, Lara? With another leap, we arrive at Spinny Central. It stops spinning until we get our hands on it. A puzzle! A puzzle that I can't solve. Well, that's not completely true. I could brute force it, of course. You see, the clue, and really the answer, is in the journal. Do you see this journal? No, you don't. There should be pictures here. With this method of recording, visual bugs will happen, and this happened to be one of the biggest of all. But believe it or not, someone actually ripped and uploaded a lot. So, thank you for that. When I looked up the journal pictures I had saved and closed the game. This is what happened when I reloaded. Right. Wait. That's the answer. Did I get it right by accident before? Alright, I'll lock these on. Alright, now pull the lever open. Angel of Darkness. With the lineup correctly lined up, a big hole is opened, and we head down. We are now in an alleged tomb of ancients, wherein we're treated to swelling music and drunken camera work. We climb down naturally, fight bats while simultaneously fighting the game. This is not me walking backwards, this is the game. And arrive at the bridge. The first of many. Now what? Seriously, where do I go? Alright, that's not a ledge that you can walk to. I can't climb up. I can't climb up. Game, why are you like this? I looked at a guide and I'm still lost. What the fuck am I jumping to? Is that... Can I make that? Fucking hell. With a jump that feels too far and a fall that feels similar, and after a needlessly awkward jump, progress is finally being made. At the bottom of the chamber, with legs intact, resides an armor-clad, sword and shield-wielding skeleton. Ego is ignored, a lever is pulled, and the realization that mistakes may have been made takes hold. But thankfully, the skeleton is an idiot, and walks away. We continue with the usual. Limited clamber, open a hatch at the bottom, and must head back down again. We go down again, but a little further this time. In the whole halls, there's a metal door and a jarring area transition, on the other end of which is another.
I'm not strong enough.
Back we go to the first metal door.
My strength is increasing.
This fucking game, I swear. Behind the door, a shotgun and ammunition. Now that we have sufficiently worked out, the door hasn't a chance in hell of ceasing our journey. However, behind this door is a hall of spoots and spikes, which we must avoid if we are to survive a time sprint to the other side. So here we are. The Hall of Elements masquerading as seasons. Didn't think I'd be doing a segment on a level, but that is essentially what we will be doing here. So let's start with the setup. In the Hall of Seasons, you have the central area where you aren't given any time to stop and take in or really understand your surroundings, as you are forever pestered by the Eternal Reject. This central area is a hub which leads to 4 season-themed zones, wherein you're tasked with a unique challenge, and upon completion, acquiring that zone's gem. Sounds straightforward and potentially quite cool from a presentation standpoint if nothing else, but needless complication greets us from the off. As is plain to see, there are considerably more doors than zones. Each zone has 3 doors associated with it. Each group is opened by one of the 4 switches in the centre of the room. Once opened, you are greeted by 3 halls. 2 outer halls, which lead to a dead end with a gate on the side adjacent to the centre, and in the centre hall, a double door blocked by yet another gate. In all 3 halls, a lever and a suspicious floor segment. What we have here is a guessing game. Straight up, upon rewatching this part of the video deep in the editing process. How deep? Well, I just paused the near final cut and grabbed the microphone to do this. Anyway, what I noticed was hanging symbols in each hall. So, most likely the correct lever corresponds to the switch that was stepped on to open those doors. So this is almost certainly not actually a guessing game. I probably would have figured that out if I took the time, but when I was constantly being pestered by an unkillable skeleton, my ability to read the room was diminished. So a random game this is not, but the design was spoiled by whoever decided to throw in a random, unkillable enemy into the room. I felt like if I was going to be harsh on this particular level, the least I could do was come at it with accurate complaints. So, back to it. Pick the correct lever and all gates open. Choose the incorrect lever, the floor opens up and you drop to a room below. If you're in the center hall when this happens, you can actually get around it because Lara is still technically on the floor since her state hasn't updated, for want of a better term. So if you hold to the side and jump, she'll side jump immediately after coming out of the lever animation, completely circumventing the penalty. So what is the penalty? You must navigate and escape the Donut of Doom! The Donut of Doom is a circular room with a variety of traps and inexplicably resources, which will restock at a certain point. I think it might happen when you complete one of the zones, or perhaps it's simply a case of leaving for a zone and coming back. Regardless, along with a mysterious door on the inner wall, there's an elevator down here that you must find and pull upwards. It stops halfway and the animation for the second pull always breaks. Always. Once ascended, you are back to the hub, so let's get to finding some gems. 'Tis the reason for the Hall of Alleged Seasons. It's a crapshoot as to what one will go into, since I was more concerned with the skeletal scallywag and just stepped on all of them. I stepped on all of them so hard that I actually momentarily broke it, and the door closed on me once I entered, which despawned the false floor, so that was funny. Gotta laugh at these things, you know. Haha. So, we are going to go through this level of levels as I did, and we'll talk about each room as we see it. To pull back the curtain, it has actually been a little bit, and I don't remember the order nor the details for 2 of the zones. All I have is feelings. Feelings. So this will be a lovely bit of rediscovery. We start off with everyone's favourite season, Wrath of the Beast. In here, shit, it's this one. Faggot. Oh god, I fucking detest this one. Okay. Who loves reactionary time platforming with unresponsive and unreliable controls? Nobody cares what you think, because you're getting it regardless. Start on one end of the room, make your way to the other. Straightforward, and yet infuriating. Let me tell you right now, that's the least bullshit death we'll have in this room. Second time round, we jump with impatience, skip the cutscene, and die immediately because the game doesn't bother to reset your position during the cutscene. First impressions with a first proper attempt? It's fine. But then... what we have here is a series of jumps where the platform falls incredibly fast relative to how sluggish and inaccurate movement of all kinds is. Panic and tension doesn't come from well-paced full-air won't-I distant ledges with the backdrop of potential imminent death. It instead comes from, will the game do what I want to do, and will it do it in time? What should be a short, tense, and ultimately fun time platform challenge instead does nothing but highlight the shortcomings of the game's platforming capabilities. With one final jump, what remains? Bury, slowly collapses, and for reasons, ammo. With a touch of the double doors, a gem, and the fuck is this? The double doors are actually a red herring. 3 ungladiators appear with flaming sword in hand. They go ignored until they make a point of it, and Lara is determined to continue the stonewalling by not running whilst engulfed in flames. Seriously, she wouldn't run. I'm telling you, the run is a mystery. On our new path, it's a wrong guess and middle finger to the penalty, with the second being correct. It's time for the Sanctuary of Flame. But before we get into it, I'm going to let the next cutscene play out. Okay, based on that, what do you think is happening, if anything? I don't want to influence you one way or the other, I'll give you a second. So, what conclusion did you come to? Something or nothing? The reason for all this is because, due to the cutscene, I thought that this was a race against time. The lava, or whatever burning substance this is, drops and slowly makes its way down. With this assumption, misery, for reasons well established in the previous Time Terror. And also random ledges that you can walk off. I had no reason to believe otherwise. I was able to get more than halfway before this pool of presumed oil was ignited. But really, I should have assumed this wasn't the case. After all, how would I complete the room if ignition was a deathless failure? So on the 6th attempt, I waited, and on top of getting repeatedly bonked on the head, realised it was fine. Also, the platforms get launched now. So this begs the question, why the cutscene? Why does it move so slow? I guess I could avoid the spooting and propelling if I ran it, but I don't know. But that would also require the platforming to function well in the first place, so Sans race, what we're left with is a kind of boring path. With gem in hand, magical platforms arrive once more. It's mildly precise platforming with imprecise platforming means. It's not as bad as it could be. It exists. On the road to the third zone, choose poorly. Back again, choose poorly. It's third time the charm as we enter the breath of Hades. It's the season of the wind, which really could be any of them. See, I'm fucking telling you, it's elements. I'll admit Wrath of the Beast is a bit dodgy as far as the representative of Earth goes, but it works more for that than any pissing season. Anyway, this is one of the more visually striking of the rooms. I would say it's the coolest one of the lot. With the push of a fake wall and pull of a real lever, pillars under the influence of blowing air emerge from below and shift about. I love how this looks, the presentation is great, even death creates a nice shot. The goal is obvious. Carefully make your way to the other side, don't fall or get blown off. This was actually one of the easiest to do. But then... the short hop just didn't work. It does that sometimes. Sometimes you hold down the walk, but you get the toggled version instead. This is a task that hinges on the short hop and the walk system to function correctly, and for whatever fucking reason, it just wanted to break all the time. Also, since you're holding down the walk button to not only jump but orientate yourself, you can end up doing a side jump by accident. Needless to say, frustration and impatience was kicking in at this point. Also, sometimes you do everything fine, and Lara just has a little slide. This was the point where anger was setting in. The challenge was over, the winds blew no more, yet now, the real challenge made itself known. It was no wind, it was no drunken pillars, it was to get the game to function properly. And here I tested the walk to ensure that I was getting the held controls and not the toggle, only to get the regular jump anyway. This was the room that broke me, and it wasn't until the 12th attempt of returning to the hub that I decided to just start abusing the save system. So when I broke at the last jump, anger was mitigated a little. Back at the hub. One to go. The gate levers are bugged and can't be moved. That's a load. Failed circumvention. Like, I knew it wouldn't work, but you know, I was going to try anyway. With patience eroded, a save is loaded. The wrong one, in fact. But with time to travel comes thoughts of our life's purpose. What the hell do you do with these? From stumbling comes discovery. Discovery of things we passed when we arrived in this dump. Why are they in this tight hall and not, say, in the main body of the hub? Perhaps slotted in the switches we press, or even just put these on a small plinth near the switches or doors? Who's to say? I would just like something that isn't practically hidden away. Regardless, it's time for the fourth and final zone. Thank God. It's Neptune's Hall. There's actually not a lot to say about this one. As you've undoubtedly inferred, this is a water-based zone, and by natural extension, the swimming one. Remember what I said in the control segment? It's fine. Yeah, this challenge is an explorative one with swimming and lever pulling. Then you must make your way through a spiky tube, which is actually quite useless, or perhaps I got lucky. Whatever the case, you get spat out at a column, grab the gem, pull a lever, and leave. With everything we need, we return to the unassuming hallway and are prevented from making progress by the sole enemy in this room and the melee system. Gems in place, the mysterious door in the Donut of Doom is open, and so a willing descent is in order. We are now near a furnace. Valve hunting is once again the order of the day, so we must navigate this kinda irritating room and turn all the valves we find. Except that one. That one's going to be locked away and won't be available until we turn the other three. What's the hatch then? Did I put something in? We do it again and get out of the way. What I didn't mention was the running theme of the Hall of Seasons. I don't know, just throw an enemy an element. Multiple times there has just been a single skeleton of fun, just thrown in. There is no reason for their addition. It's like whoever put them in was told to add something, possibly to add a little flair or excitement to the level. because we can't be having the player doing nothing but exploring in a Tomb Raider game. That would be madness. There's also something about the Donut of Doom that I want to whinge about as well. We had to essentially power some aspect of the hall, yes? How about scrap the dumb guessing game, make the furnace activation also activate the traps of the DoD, and make it a gauntlet. It would have been a nice build. On the way to the furnace room, you see evidence of traps, and with the power turned on, knowledge that what you have seen along the way is now, in all likelihood, active. Perhaps creating a sense of tension. I don't know, that would be considerably more interesting to me at least than nothing. Back at the hub, there are now piston-like columns, which now that I have seen them again, why couldn't they have been static and you slot the gems into them? From here, we ascend. There's some skeletons of Kool-Aid Man's past, and something that I'll whinge about when we're talking level design. Or maybe I've already talked about it. Continuity is a bugger when you're chopping and changing up to the day of release. And that, for all intents and purposes, the Hall of Alleged Seasons. A level that pisses me off from its execution and itself in theory. The execution is self-evident. For why the level in theory? It's because, quite simply, I love this level. I love the concept, I love the visual variety, I love the focus on platforming, I love the Donut of Doom! It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. This could have and should have been a reoccurring style of level throughout the game. Instead, it's an infuriating one-off. And it makes me sad and angry. Sangry. At the top of the hub, a cutscene.
Ultra Vigilis Umbram, Ecce Veritas. Through the spirit of the Keeper, behold the truth.
Alright, what the fuck are you? Away with you! Yep, just some medkits and ammo, that makes it— holy shit! See, what you have to do is touch the blue glowy, but if the ghost gets near it or the timer runs down, it moves to a different statue. So you must continuously shoot the ghost with zero feedback as to what you're doing is at all right or not, in order to stun it. You can tell when it's stunned when nothing happens, and it looks like it's wondering if it's locked the front door or not. And when it's stunned, for a fraction of a second, touch the blue glowy. It's an obscura painting, which opens the door and effectively ends the fight. It sucks. Also, the place is flooding now. With the flooding in full effect, we swim to whence we came and re-enter the Louvre. To get an idea of my headspace from this, here are the file names of the footage. In the Louvre, scenes are cut to. The Louvre is being sieged, shot in a manner most like the tanker siege in Metal Gear Solid 2, but worse in every way.
Okay, maintain radio silence.
The Louvre is filled with gas, so we must rush to the impossible to open cabinet from earlier, gunning down all that are in the way.
My foot speed has increased. Hold down the sprint button to run faster.
There's a sprint button? Where? After we exit the localized gas zone, Lara cautiously makes her exit. But then... Lara proceeds to be sexually assaulted. There's no other way that I can think to phrase it, because I'm pretty damn certain Lara isn't hiding anything on her bare arms nor smuggling anything in her belly button, and no amount of slowly sliding your fucking creepy little fucking hands over her is going to change that fact. This creepy poochy bastard is now Poochie the sex pest. Lara does the spinning and... No, Core, no! You do not follow this creepy display with a possible kiss. Bad, Core, bad! The sex pest leaves and Lara gives chase in a sequence most exciting. God, he's such a wanker. The chase goes on. But then... What the fuck was that? Lara, now with a pair of glasses, is awakened by Bouchard. She picks something up, don't know what it is, and I'll never know nor care enough to find out. She asks Bouchard to take her to Von Croy's apartment. Obviously the best place to go when you're wanted and allegedly being actively hunted for their murder. But hey, who gives a damn about that plot point? They certainly don't, and I bet you've forgotten that it was even a thing. In Bouchard's car, Lara questions Bouchard's sudden appearance. Radios and that is the reason given, and good God, Bouchard is also a skeevy bastard. There are also reports of another monstrum killing, but this time in Prague. Lara throws out the name Matthias Vasily, and Bouchard confirms. If you're wondering why Lara knew this, I was as well. Turns out when a name gets thrown around, the answer's in the journal. Also, I'm glad Von Croy felt the need to specify in Prague, or perhaps that's Vasily's full name. For some reason, we get a replay of the boot-up intro, sans narration. I have no idea why. Without the narration, it feels really empty. Flashback, but with added detail that Lara somehow saw whilst unconscious. It turns out that Lara didn't do the murder! Shocking! And that it was actually Eckhart. Glasses are gone again. We pick up a cane that I'll never find a use for, and quite frankly, I don't know if there is. Pick up some ammo! 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 Check the inventory and see that continuity has been maintained. Music? Why music? Wait, but I don't have a gun! Aha! 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 Ah, no. Lure! The alchemist Pieter van Eckhart created the Sanglyph. A piece of the Sanglyph may be attached to each obscura painting. The Lux Veritatis are an offshoot of the Templars that really didn't like sorcery and alchemy, allegedly killed Eckhart in 1445. The Cabal are an alliance of 5 alchemists and sorcerers in the 13 and 1400s. Eckhart betrayed them to have all the secrets. The Cabal and the Lux Veritatis continuously did the fights. We resume looting. Get stronger. Die. Out of annoyance, R1 is pushed and Lara pulls out a shotgun that she shouldn't have. Fair enough. The cleaner gets dumped on by the impossible shotgun. With the tables turned, he legs it and we give chase. The cleaner proceeds to make a mess by performing some Looney Tunes bullshit. We eye the precarious and say feck it. Okay. Oh god damn you game. Explosives are explosive, which is an excuse for some uninteresting platforming, and it's followed by more lasers, but now with projectile pestilence. I didn't mention it earlier, but any time that you see Lara just snap 90 degrees to a side when shooting, that's the lock-on breaking. It just does that. Stairs! And the level ends. Lara, with a gun that we don't have, trouserless, and once again with glasses, nabs the clean cleaner's phone. I swear I don't think I've played a game with so many blatant continuity errors before. This is feckin' hysterical to me. Lara hears Bouchard's ramblings. He name drops Prague and Lara threatens him. A business card of Matthias Vasily is found, so it's off to Prague to visit the recently forcibly deceased. Where in Prague specifically? Well, let's have a look at that business card. So we're off to Prague. We arrive glassesless, but trousered. Talk to a reporter. White building. Monstrum. The reporter believes that Vasily knew more than he should, and that the monstrum was set after him as a result. Any evidence of intent was quickly cleaned away by the perpetrators, and taken to the Strahov. He won't tell us about the Strahov out of fear, but he will tell us his name though.
Wladek. My name's Wladek.
He then proceeds to tell us about the Strahov. Look, sometimes you just need to make the conversation a little bit more personal, and all fears of being brutally mutilated will dissipate. Strahov is the Prague Mafia's HQ, and has been busier than usual. We then see lovely pictures of Bouchard and Eckhart, and are told what we already assumed was a certainty, that all the major players have arrived in Prague. Ludek can get us into Strahov, but he needs access codes, so whilst he goes about getting those, it's another crime scene for us. With impossible shotgun in hand, we gun down all in sight, and hope that they're involved in the ongoing dastardly dealings. Otherwise, yeah. We randomly find and pick up a hammer in the alleyway. That's a combination of a hammer head and shaft. Can you tell that some content may have been cut? Discover the sprint button. And interact with doors that will never open. With the aid of a combined claw hammer, which is a hammer head and shaft combined, we enter the sewers, step through a hole in the wall, and walk through these clean halls to an occupied Bouchard. Also, Lara is wearing her glasses again. With a bomb! Bouchard is cuffed. Why does he have his gun? Why? Lara would have had to have done that herself. Why did she give Bouchard his gun? Wafting the impossible shotgun, and now glassless Lara interrogates Bouchard for a story dump. To the surprise of no one, Eckhart put the hit on Lara by using Bouchard, whom has been on the receiving end of violent poking and proddings at his dodgy livelihood. Atop of the attempted Lara cleaning, Bouchard also made off with the painting from the Louvre and shifted overnight to the Strahov. The Strahov, which is not run by any mere mafia, no, but the Cabal! The Cabal! The Cabal! You know, those completely optional notes that I surmised earlier. You know, the Cabal! Yeah, I'm struggling to care as well. Lara asks for further details on Von Croy's involvement. During his search for the Louvre painting, he contacted Vasily and they exchanged information. Vasily was able to lead Von Croy to the Louvre painting as he was in possession of all 5 engravings. However, only 4 of the 5 were found, meaning that Vasily has one in hiding. With faxes not being the most secure of information transferal, the Cabal intercepted the exchange, and now with the knowledge of the Louvre painting, had no need for Von Croy. Conversation turns to the Monstrum and their post-murder art display. It's all in service of reviving the cubic column Nephili, aka the Sleeper, aka the Lazy Bastard. For reasons not established, Lara is aware of this comatose cockwomble, and all of this for why? To try and bring back the Nephilim. Though the engraving is hidden, Bouchard knows that it shows a place known as the Vault of Trophies, a secret stronghold of none other than the Lux Veritatis. The optional note. Supposedly, the vault is located under the Strahov. As for Bouchard and how he knows all these things, he just does. We leave Bouchard as he is, and have a look-see for the final engraving. In the room most fancy, we push some drawers, climb and jump on scaffolding, continuously move a stained glass window which has a forever mysterious beam of light shining through. What secrets have we revealed? Oh. To the other side. Second time round, we open a clock and... I swear to God, if the answer is 3.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Why even bother?
Tres pariapti conjuncti cum justitiae igne mala kingunt.
Quite. Upon the secret floor of the secret room, a secret fax with a secret code unsecretively printed upon it. With the final engraving in hand, we leave bollocked. We leave and Bouchard has fled. We take our leave and aimlessly wander around, unable to find an exit. This fucking game. Bouchard collapses on the floor, still with gun in hand, in a manner conveying being dead.
What the hell's going on around here?
We lift some keys and make our exit. Ludwig waits outside. He has the code, wants exclusive story times, and to sell us a gun, which we wouldn't be able to buy if we didn't get at least €800 back before the storm drains. Anyway, it's off to the Strahov, specifically the warehouse. Sexy. In the Strahov, there's really nothing interesting or even half-heartedly noteworthy to say about the majority of our time in the Strahov. So, combat is by and large uneventful, quick, sparse, and also, as this is Angel Darkness, clumsy. Even with the advent of dual analog sticks, auto-aiming is the order of the day. Once arms are bared, Lara will auto-target to her aggressor, or one of, if it's one of those thankfully rare occasions. Also, there's a target switch that I wasn't privy to until it was very much needed. You'll see. With guns out, you do as you think, and fire your projectile propeller with the interact button. And you do this with a perplexing variety of guns. So many pistols. Why so many pistols? Apparently, there are range differences, and I say apparently because fights are typically quite close quarters, so I never really found out. Of course, there are other weapons, such as a shotgun, automatics, some non-lethal options, and an impossible shotgun. You actually have some melee options too. Sorry I made that sound more exciting than it is. If you're near something and press interact, Lara will do a kick. It kinda sucks, and it doesn't do much damage. As far as I can tell, you should never bother to engage with it. There's really not much to say about the combat. As I said, uneventful. It begins, it ends, move along, because the majority of the enemies in the game have low health. This isn't a bad thing, I quite like it in fact. This brevity paired with the sparseness of encounters means that they function purely as a brief diversion. Even the encounters with a revolving door of enemies don't stick around for long given the aforementioned low health. Now, you might say, but Arebuckle, who mans? Guns! True, but here's the thing, enemy AI is dumb. They're very slow to do much of anything. Now, the lingering clumsy cloud. 3 things. Close combat, movement, and camera. Once transfixed, your movement is now relative to them. They are the center of your universe. Also, for reasons that I don't understand, they implemented an automatic retreat. When you move within the ever-shifting range requirement, you'll be forcibly pushed back. You have to fight the game to get it to do what you want. But you will be sent hurtling away as soon as you release the stick, or the game just decides to regardless of your inputs. The system doesn't really have any kind of logical sense. It will just pin you against the corner because cowardice is apparently the only option. That's all there really is to say on the combat. But in closing, another sign of the state that this game is in. You know shotguns. You know, the typical pump shotgun firing rhythm. And so on, as long as there is will and ammo. That's how shotgun. Deep in Strahov, Eckhart is feeling up the wall. Ludwig was captured by Triple H and, well...
I have records on you, Eckhart. You can't hurt me.
If only there was time for us to read them together. But it's too late now. There are things to be done.
Well, that's unfortunate. At a security station of sorts, Lara turns off all the power in order to get to the biodome.
My route
But
goes
in
through
doing
that
so...
biodome.
What proceeds is frankly a feckin' mess. A hall of lasers that kill you on contact and proximity mines. I had absolutely no idea how to get through. After many deaths, I boshed my way through it. With the swipe of a keycard, it's on to the bio-research facility. That is not the door we entered through. And also Lara's lost her trousers again. In the birth. Visual stimulation as we finally see some goddamn colour other than browns and greys. We meet with Mac. Who are you? Cabal? Who? Cabal? What do you? Wake the lazy bastard. Alongside the obscure hunt, they've been trying to replicate the Nephilim, specifically Boaz. Who the feck is Boaz? Is that Arena or is that someone else entirely? He spoots and lands it conveniently off camera. With some shifting, a lever is pulled to an exit's opening. Well, that's new. With the introduction of the test tube baby and these rolly arses, let's briefly touch on our enemy lineup. Believe me, it'll be hard for it to be anything but. You have some weaponless wildlife, several rats, some bats. Actually, I think that might be it. Oh yeah, a couple dogs too. You of course have humans of varying types of dress. Some with guns, some with tasers, none with a brain. They're not really a threat unless you let them be. Though in saying that, if you get caught in the open and want to run away, you have to contend with the molasses movement, which gets interrupted if you get hit. So you end up in a faux stun lock situation. It's great. Humans are the primary antagonistic force of the Angel of Darkness. If it's a combat encounter, chances are good that there's some bipedal ball bag with a gun. Then we have the more infrequent, which really the wildlife could have, if not should have, been thrown in here. These are tied to their thematic levels. For example, the skeletons. They first appear in the misery that follows the Louvre dig site, and they won't reappear until we reach a new area of that civilization. Some are just one-offs. Your man we just met and gunned down? Yeah, that's the last time we'll see one. The Rollies? Also a one-off. Though with how that fight went, I can't say that I am filled with much lament. Those two are the most visually interesting enemies in the whole game, and this is their beginning and end. The overall problem with the enemies of the Angel of Darkness isn't the quantity, limited use of most types, nor the abundance of human enemies. It's that none are in any way interesting to fight. Though, as previously established, outside of some combat-focused sections, you aren't going to be doing a lot of fighting. It is what it is, and what it is Tomb Raider the Angel of Darkness in a nutshell. Uneventful until irritating, with brief glimpses at something that could have been more. We effortlessly walk through the steam streams. Ooh, pipe! Let us climb it! Now, fear not the steam. The game has just taught us that it will do us no harm. See? Oh, well, now what? Ah! You won't fool me again, game. I spy natural climables. Balls. Alright, here we go. Not the real? I can't go any further. I don't understand. What the fuck? The secret is to ignore the things that we were taught, and instead, do the things that we were punished for earlier. Even the fucking trees are against me. Puzzle time! Now, looking at this, you may be concerned, but it's okay, because the answer is just right there. We arrive in a big room that elicits feelings of happiness. Spy our goal, ascend, and slip on a glass roof. Oh no. The hell is wrong with you?
This ledge looks too far. I don't think I'll make it yet.
Okay, fine, but right now there are more pressing matters. I mean, if anything, I'd probably put him out of his misery.
My strength has increased. Maybe now I can make it across that ledge.
Arbitrary bullshit. We continue to ascend, open a shortcut, and what looks like a natural climb is in reality a goddamn lie. Wait, this is a fucking pipe! Cutscene! Eckhart and Triple H are not happy about the lack of power. Why power for the depths of the Straw Hub would be controlled entirely by the surface facility is anyone's guess. Muller, not so light, is pushed aside by Triple H. Boaz arrives flustered. With the power down, her experiments are running amok, including a should-be, but actually isn't, dead prototype Nephilim. And then...
You ignored my orders for the last time, Boaz. Muller, I need the services of one of your little creations.
Oh, please, no! It wasn't my fault! I'm loyal!
Your own incompetence has sentenced you, Boaz.
Give me a chance! Not the pot!
I will be obeyed. Now sort this mess out.
Wait, when did he fucking get here? I genuinely did not notice him before. With someone's fetish satisfied, we pick up one of the 3 key cards needed for the door. Where are the other 2? As you've seen, there is undoubtedly a story being told. But for me, at the least, none of it is connecting. There are a few reasons, just like there are a few plot threads. Let's go over those first. We have Lara's story, the villain's story, and the world story. Lara's story just falls away, only to be quickly resolved just over a third of the way through the game and never appears again. We start off with, did Lara do the murder? The police hunting her down with rapid response and force. They lose Lara by her falling into a dumpster, and that's the police in their near entirety. If you stick around Cavia's apartment for too long, they show up. And now that is the police in their entirety. We walk the Paris streets. No police. No police of implication through dialogue or plot, be it NPCs or Lara making some mention on the way to, say, the storm drains, or on the way to Von Croy's apartment, or even getting out of Paris. This is a person that they sent numerous policemen after, dog units, and helicopters. Apparently in Paris, if you get through the night without getting caught, then you're just free to go. In conversations, Lara bounces back and forth between pleasantly neutral and psychotic, although that's likely a factor of something that we'll talk about in a bit. And then, hours later, oh, Lara didn't do the murder! And that's Lara's story. The villain's story starts with the big table in the big room. Big plans were laid out to those big people in attendance. This is our villain lineup. Other than Eckhart, what can I tell you about the other three? 4. That's an honest mistake, I forgot about Triple H. Look, it's the only way I'll remember him. They only say his name once, I think. Anyway, what can I tell you? Absolutely nothing, for all but one. But that would be spoilers. You look at this lineup and what do you see? I saw boss fights, be they direct or indirect. Instead they do nothing. Actual nothing. There is nothing here. There is no character here. They do not have an identity. They have no personality. Really, there's nothing here. It's not until the garden where we actually see Mac and Arebuckle. Look, I can't remember any of their names. You might say, Arebuckle, just look it up. No! This is a perfectly accurate result of the story of Angel of Darkness. This is what they've earned. This is what they deserve. The garden. At the start, we see Mac for the first time since the briefing, and then at the end of the garden, the whole group, minus Niles, is reunited. Also, with his lack of presence in this and scenes to come, I legitimately wondered if Niles was just cut from the game, or his just general content was cut where he was dealt with dialogue of disappointment and actions that come across as dumb and erratic. It would only make sense from a position of reoccurring failure, like say, a series of levels capped off of a boss fight series of failures. Instead, it's just a low primary antagonist that we've only seen in one cutscene. Oh, you're dead now. Also, I just realized that I've forgotten what happens to Triple H. I can't remember if he's dead or not, so that'll be a lovely bit of rediscovery. You see, there's the Lux Veritatis and the Cabal. The Lux Veritatis hits the Cabal because they do the magic and that, and it doesn't fucking matter at all. It's never used in any decent way. The Cabal is mentioned by name in the big room, big table, etc. cutscene. Several hours later is given an optional note that explains the basics, and then there is nothing until Prague. The Lux Veritatis are non-factor. Perhaps the Sex Pest was supposed to be their plot relevance, but we'll talk about him later. And no, I'm not saying, why did you put the lore on? No one cares. It's shite. It's not that. Lore can be a lovely little flavour to build things up and establish context and importance. There were obviously plans for this to be used more directly in the plot, but it just isn't. Like, the Cabal is our primary antagonist, but at the same time I feel like I know nothing about the Cabal, and what I know is completely irrelevant because the game just fucking kills them off. It mightn't as well bother. Aside of the plot threads, there are other problems. The story is as the atmosphere. Note this is the first time that I'm mentioning atmosphere. At no point does it get to work its way into your mind because your mind is constantly dealing with bugs, dodgy controls, dodgy level design, and an overall feeling of disjointedness from a game that was shunted together. Amongst all of the ultimately one-off systems introduced in the opening hours, the conversation system is one that persisted and poked through on rare occasions. A standard two-choice setup, one more dickish than the other. What are the repercussions for aggression? Well, in Cavia's conversation, she won't hand you the notebook. You'll just have to grab it from a drawer. Other than that, not a clue. The fact that the system would rear its head from time to time means that if there's a conversation, this was probably supposed to be there alongside, but be it from not having the dialogue recorded, or even just time to implement it, we're instead left with a Lara that just veers wildly from one side to the other for no reason. Perhaps the system would have fed into Von Croy's murder, probably not. It was likely only designed for shorter term repercussions. Whatever was to be, isn't, and what we have just washes over you. Aha! Wait. Oh no. For fuck's sake, it's not here! God damn it! I have no bloody recent save! No, I am not replaying from God knows how long ago. Okay, I am right at the end of this level. Alright. Who wants to bust out some cheats? Aha! Skip. Is this right? No, 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 no. Okay, level select. Hold on. I think IGN has a list. Prague 4, here we come. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on, we must be missing some context here. Aha! Tomb... I still can't type worth shit. We're going to watch this one together. Isn't this exciting, children? Oh wow, it's so
Really have made a mess of
clear.
Who for? The stalker who stole my painting? What do you need?
Given the fact that these are real-time cutscenes, how the hell are there continuity errors with Lara's model?
Leaving me here?
You've caused enough problems over the last 2 days. Safer for everyone if you stay in one place for a while. You'll be okay in there.
And this?
Wait, where did we get the dagger?
Perium shard. You
Picked it up in the Louvre, yes.
Oh, that's what that incomprehensible quick cut was. Well, that's that mystery solved.
I know where you'll be. Take a breather from damaging things, why don't you?
And Lara's throwing a tantrum. Alright, we have context and unfortunately, Poochie as well. So thank you very visual CGI for making our context dreams a reality. With this dildo, things are as we left them, but that I mean, he plays exactly the same and has a gun. We descend this peculiar elevator shaft and enter... Meet and immediately gunned down a mentally ill man. I didn't know X-Core went on to Quantic Dreams. So, what is this shit? Now you might say, oh, in context. No, look, I get the need for context. I often state its importance, but context will only take you so far. Oh, but Arebuckle, they were experimented and who knows. At the end of the feckin' day, I am running around a dilapidated, stereotypical feckin' mental asylum, gunning down armless, muttering people in straitjackets. Regardless of context, it's still imagery. You still used every feckin' shitty goddamn negative depiction of mental health you could lay your hack fingers on for this tripe. And not only that, you did it for the game's sole selection of pure shooter levels. They are some of the least effective enemies in the game. They just feckin' slowly run towards you and you gun them down. You made a goddamn shooting gallery for the mentally ill. Whether you intended or not is irrelevant. You feckin' did it! And some dipshit's probably saying, oh, the times are different, and feckin' shit with the times. Human decency isn't a feckin' recent invention. These types of depictions were frowned upon then. The difference was that it was easier to get away with it. I often say that I won't feckin' delve into certain topics because I am nowhere near equipped to speak intelligently on them. I wouldn't bring the appropriate level of nuance and knowledge to do it justice, but there are feckin' some bridges you can cross where qualifications be damned, I will say something. Some subjects don't need it, some subjects can be surmised and blunt. And now, to lift the mood from societal shittiness, let's talk about something that's just shit. Curtis. Apart from one more instance towards the end of the game, the sanitarium is all the time we'll have with the little Poochie bastard. A character that visually captures the lameness of the early 2000s. Well, I suppose actually he's missing a tribal tattoo, so, you know. A character with no personality other than smug wanker. A character that was supposed to be more, from a gameplay standpoint if nothing else. Curtis, as he is a lame Lara with a more appropriate crouch crawl animation. If you remember back at the Louvre, the magic glaive, you never get to use it. You were supposed to, but it never came together. You can tell that you were supposed to use it because a load screen shows him brandishing it in a fight. Now what he does have that Lara doesn't is a form of projection. In 2 or maybe 3 instances you get stuck, and the answer is quite inconveniently in a room that is quite inaccessible. But conveniently, a room with some kind of opening, because whilst Curtis can project himself, he is still bound or wishes to respect the architect's intent. Also in cutscenes he has the Force. From narrative to gameplay he was gutted. You don't learn much about him, who he is, his affiliations beyond his father, why he's a magic man. For all intents and purposes, he ends as he begins. Nothing but a question. Why? We're going to turn on the power. But then... it's time for boss fight number 2, where we go around in a circle and then Jackman just runs away. Only to return! And then we shoot it for a bit and it falls over. But it's still alive! And then it runs away. Only to return once more! And then we shoot it for a bit and then it falls over. But it's still alive! And then it runs away. Only to return for a 3rd time! And then we walk around in a circle shooting it again. Then it falls over and dies. With the power turned on, Pucci returns to his sneaky Lara. The turning of tables is had. Considerably less sexualized than when it was Lara. Story and lore dump. Curtis is after Eckhart because of the whole reawakening of the lazy bastard thing. The final painting's location is re-established as being in the Lux Veritatis vault, but to destroy the painting you need a Perat shard, of which there are 3. The Eckhart that we've been dealing with is indeed the one of the 13 or 1400s that we have been optionally reading about. To finally kill Eckhart, we'll need all 3 Perat shards, and wouldn't you know it, we have 2 of them. And the 3rd, oh jeez, wouldn't you know it, it's in all Eckhart's hands. The Perat shards originate with the Lux Veritatis. 2 of the 3 were given to Curtis's father for some reason, and Eckhart killed him so that they wouldn't reach Curtis. Why only Curtis? I don't know, they don't explain that part. With motive and ultimate goal established, Lara and Curtis work together and split up. Curtis will go after the 3rd shard, and Lara the final painting. We then cut to Niles and Eckhart, whose conversation can be surmised by bah! Oh no! We're back with Lara, and also back in the aquatic research area, but this time because we're supposed to be. We accidentally go with the path of simultaneously most and least resistance. Somehow escape getting riddled by bullets, and approach and enter an obvious sneaky point. Approach and enter an obvious sneaky point. Approach and enter an obvious sneaky point. What do you want from me, game? We get all the way up, get partly down, find a convenient camera button, and signposting. Running. Hooah! You know, I don't think this will work out. Yeah. 2nd time round, common sense takes the wheel as we shoot the gas leak. Continuously. Yep. Still shooting. Maybe sometime soon something will happen. There we go. Don't be fooled by the scale, it's actually a pretty limited, boring area with a couple of straight lines to walk. Damn, if only there were some remnants of a ladder still available for me to grab. Well, it is what it is. We shall walk these straight lines so that we can turn on the power. First, we swim to a lever that we can't pull for reasons. Then through a shattered window to another lever, which gets us half of what we need, and an open door. In the pristine version of the previous room, the 2nd lever is pulled. Now, with power fully flowing.
This ledge looks too far. I don't think I'll make it yet.
Oh, we instead move a big, thick, solid metal container, fill it with assorted meats, and bring it back.
I feel stronger now.
If she can fucking push this, then she should be sorted for the rest of the bloody game. We make it across the once unfathomable, deploy the meat, and get distracted by a different door. Well, that was a waste of fucking time. Back in the water, the once unmovable moves a lock with its texture the wrong way around. And for some reason, the should be distracted is on my ass. I guess leaving the area just reset the A. I mean, this is just expected at this point. With lever 1 done, it's only 2 to do. And what are you doing? Oh, for fuck's sake. I have been swimming around for how bloody long, and now she thinks it's time for a fucking swimsuit. It's not even a very good one. The fucking zip got stuck part way up. The lever is pulled, and the 2nd gate is open. It's an underwater maze. Sorta. It's a series of spikes in a hall that loops. And as you may assume from Lara's constant vibration, there is also a current for us to fight against, if we wish to make progress. And to reiterate, the swimming is still the most pleasant thing to do in this game. In our explorations, we find a little nook. Inside this nook, A rebreather? Oh, my vinyl's getting all wet. In the vault proper, a wall is knocked down, an air oasis is discovered, and a puzzle is in need of solving. What and how is a very complicated matter indeed. Huh. Big book. We swim in the circle, taking note of those in attendance, and pulling the lever of those relevant. Reunited, the Mao and Vasily sword fight comes to its climax. Laura climbs out of the water and immediately changes. Where the hell did the fucking goggles come from? Apparently every outfit needs some continuity to find magical eye dangles. Well, at least we're still in shorts, so, you know, some continuity has been maintained. Well, alright then. We don't get blocked. Pull a lever that reawakens the past. Seriously, there couldn't have been like a door or some structure. Just gassy pit, boom, cozy wozy, have a snoozy.
My strength is increasing.
Ah, fuck! We move a giant painting, clamber the ceiling, uncover the final painting, fall into a wet hole, emerge to a cutscene.
Congratulations, Miss Croft. You're positively Amazonian. That vault has defeated us for months.
They couldn't have just got some David equipment and make some bridges? With Curtis in hand, Eckhart desires a trade. I mean, who wouldn't? Curtis for the obscura painting. Why Lara didn't just destroy it when she got it in the first place like she was supposed to is... Oh wait, no. Plot convenience. With painting in his grasp, for reasons, Eckhart lets Curtis go. And then...
This old colleague of mine was once a human, before she displeased me.
Eckhart then pushes Muller over the ledge because the game doesn't have any way to deal with its villain lineup other than for it to eat itself. Muller then proceeds to... run towards the Boaz beast and... Why? Curtis gets Lara out of there to go after Eckhart.
Here, take these two.
And he fights Boaz. What precedes is anger. Game, lock on. Game. No, I don't want to jump over there. Game, lock on. Lock on. Game. Lock on, game. Lock game on. And side jump, game. Side jump. Okay. Oh god, it's streetwise all over again. Broke. Alright, shoot the green glowies. Game, lock on. Game. Yep, this is what I need to see. No, game, I shot that one. No, change target. Why can't I still shoot the broken one? Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, move further back. Stop aiming at the broken one! You're aiming at it, you dumbass! God, I need to find a fucking manual. No, not Tumph. Ha! Target. Square. The natural target change. Alright, dickhead. Just die. Why does this one have so much health? Is it broken? Like, visually, I mean. Let's do the other one. What the f- Did the visual bug out and not update?
Give me a break.
Phase 2! Don't worry though. Yep, that's the whole fight. The game just hasn't figured it out yet. For reasons of forced drama, Curtis doesn't stab Boaz as he did Shakma, and instead turns his back on her, and slowly walks... Oh no! He's been stabbed! Maybe I should have done that in the first place, dipshit. He just took a screenshot. I mean, all of them probably are, but this is like the most blatant one. Back with Lara, it's time for some timed platforming. An interesting one in that not only is it a race, it's one where you absolutely have to pelt it in order to make it. We get Lara's legs stronger by just doing a jump. So really, she should just be jumping up and down for the whole game. And then jump the proverbial by initiating the race mid-cutscene. We ignore the dangerous path and opt instead for the world famous wooden bridge found in the load screen. Make another of those non-existent slide jumps. You see, the jump is skewed to the left of your goal. So, what you're supposed to do is push the analog stick to the right whilst in the air to direct Lara to the ledge. And we all could have and should have easily intuited this from the flat side angle given. A rather lovely looking door animation plays out, and we head for Eckhart's lab. On the road to the lab, we must conquer the ultimate slidey platforming challenge. I don't know what you're supposed to do here, like I died so many times. As with the lizard mine hallway in the Strahov, I eventually mangled success, but I don't know, maybe you just hang your jump before the spikes on the right and you just clear them and the gap? Whatever the answer is, I almost certainly didn't do it. In the lab, we open a death pit, which also opens a ladder, for some reason. Pick up a, well, man, it looks like a butt plug, let's be honest. Find a receptacle for an alleged alchemic vial, but not this one. There are in fact 3 vials for 3 holsters. Look, I know the lesson should have been learnt by now that I shouldn't question it, but like, why is there a med kit up here? Yeah. We get a vial in a box. Attempt to escape the box as it plummets into the death pit below. Don't quite make it, but it's fine because it doesn't actually make contact with the surface. We go back down and into a vent, get the last vial, and get stuck. Help me! Hey! God damn it, game! With everything satisfactorily plugged, liquid spews forth imbuing the water with oxygen. Presumably. We dive and find a 3rd shard, which opens the door out. That leads to an immediate slidey slide. I've learned my lesson. I'm not questioning it anymore. In a big room with assuredly uneventful intentions, Eckhart does something. If you can tell what it was, then fair play to you. The lazy bastard wiggles in restlessness, and Lara's got her glasses. Of course she does. I'm evil, blah blah blah. You're evil, blah blah blah. You can't stop. I can stop. You can't stop. Ah shit. I can stop. You can't stop. Boss fight. With glasses gone once again, what proceeds is an exercise in futility. So, you're trapped in a circular force-fielded arena. Eckhart runs around the outside, stopping to cast an elemental attack. If weapons are drawn, they immediately track. The natural follow-up to which would be to shoot. Upon doing so, you receive 0 feedback, be it visually or audibly. There are no sign of bullet landing on either Eckhart or the force wall. I decided to continually shoot because, from past experience, 0 feedback does not equate to a guaranteed mistake. So I shoot, and I shoot. Eventually, he makes clones of himself, the target automatically switches. I proceed to potentially riddle the clone with bullets. Perhaps it would kill the clone, or prevent or diminish an incoming attack. The result was dubious. As when combined, Eckhart launched an attack, and then took a knee, and follows it by a ceiling-destroying act of frustration. The fight then returns to the opening state, but this time, the attack is fire-based. A sign of progress? It continues beat for beat, but with flames. The return to the marathon reverted to electricity. With this and ammo stock greatly depleted, feelings of not getting it emerge. And so, upon the 3rd reuniting, I just want to see what happens if you get up on. Oh, welcome to one of the least satisfying, slow, tedious, dragged out boss fights that I have ever played. Normally I would go with in recent memory, but for this one I am confident. This is a boss fight where you do absolutely nothing until Eckhart enters the arena. You then fire one shot. If it lands, he takes a knee. Run up, cutscene. You must then do this 2 more times with no ability to speed it up. Just sit with your thumb up your arse, take a shot, run up, and watch the same cutscene 2 times with the third being the conclusion. And that's Eckhart. Defeated and somehow missing the 2 prior shards, Eckhart collapses. Lara goes for the killing blow, but is stopped by Niles, who finally gets a name.
Corel?
Which Lara knows. I can't rule out the possibility that I missed something, but I don't think I did. But then... basically, Eckhart ain't shit. I'm a Wacom. Join me. Also, I'm a Nephilim. ET2000's about and claims to have aided Lara along the way, but upon seeing the marking on his hand, Lara impossibly remembers more things about Von Croy's murder. God, we're getting a lot of mileage out of this cutscene. It wasn't Eckhart. It was... what's his name again? Corel! For some reason. What does this twist serve? Why is this even a thing? Why was Corel mimicking Eckhart? Like, why would he need... It's just, there's no point. It's twist for twist's sake. It's to try and give our antagonist something. Like, he's done nothing. He is not an antagonist. He is just something to show us up and says, oi oi, I'm a Nephilim me. Like, what the hell is his plan? So I'm going to look like Eckhart and go and, oh, somebody here, smacking him to the side. Ah, killed him. No, I can reveal myself to be Corel. This was pivotal to the whole plan that Von Croy doesn't see me, but says sees Eckhart, or else I wouldn't be able to murder him.
You killed Von Croy.
Stupid mortal. So be it.
Corel proceeds to float around and attack in a manner requiring little to no animation. Past mistakes were in full effect until quality expectations diminished. Pick up the thingamabob that Eckhart had. Presumably, press a button with it. Receive 0 feedback. Ascend. Ascend. And just... wow, that's... With glasses back one final time, Lara places the thingamabob on the foot of the lazy bastard. Some truly fantastic camera work takes place, and the ensuing laser light show kills Corel. Good thing she had those sunglasses. Lara returns to Curse's site of stupidity, but he's gone, leaving nothing but a puddle of blood and his glaive. But it turns out that this is no mere glaive, no, but a douchebag divining glaive. Lara follows the glaive's will to the backing of the Tomb Raider fame. Wait. That's it. Whew. And that is the passive conclusion to Tomb Raider, the Angel of Darkness. Next time, we smush the 2 of them together and see what's changed. Boy, jeez, I wonder what's changed. Oh hey, Triple H made it out the other side. Good for him.